The elections to the Hebdomadal Council by Lewis Carroll. Heard ye the arrow hurtle in the sky? Heard ye the dragon monster's deathful cry? Excuse the sudden burst of the heroic. The present state of things would vex a stoic. Just to stare at Gamp, for pains within, administered a modicum of gin. So does my mind, when vexed and ill at ease, console itself with soothing similes. The dragon monster, pestilential schism, I need to tell you is conservatism. The hurtling arrow, till we find a better, is represented by the present letter. 'Twas, I remember, but the other day, dear senior censor, with your chance to say, you thought these party combinations would be found, though needful, now unmingled good. Unmingled good? They are unmingled ill. I never took to them, and never will. What am I saying? Heed it not, my friend. On the next page I mean to recommend the very dodges that I now condemn in the Conservatives. Don't hint to them a word of this. In confidence, Need I rehearse the history of Jovid? I need not, senior censor, for you know it. That was the broad Hebdomadal, and oh, who would be free themselves must strike the blow. Let each that wears a beard and each that shaves join in the cry, we never will be slaves. But can the university afford to be a slave to any kind of board? A slave, you shuddering ask. Think you it can, sir? Not at the present moment, is my answer. I thought the matter hour and hour again, and given to it all my powers of brain. I thought it out, and this is what I make it, and I don't care, Tory, how you take it. It may be right to go ahead, I guess. It may be right to stop, I do confess. Also, it may be right to retrogress. So says the oracle, and, for myself, I must say it beats to fits the one of Delphi, to save beloved Oxford from the yoke, for this majority's beyond a joke. We must combine, hold a caucus meeting, unless we want to get another beating. That they should bottle us is nothing new, but shall they bottle us and caucus too? See the fell unity of purpose now, with which obstructives plunge into the row. Factious minorities we used to sigh, factious majorities is now the cry. Votes 92, now combination here, votes 93, conspiracy, 'tis clear. You urge, 'tis but a unit, I reply, that is that unit lurks the unity. Our voters often vote, they often balk us, but when they never go to caucus. Our voters cannot forget the maxim famous, semel electum semper eligamus. They never can be worked into a ferment, by visionary promise of preferment, nor taught by hints of paradise, begilded to whisper, see for chairman, like a child. And thus the friends that we have tempted down oft take the 2 o'clock express to town. This is our danger, this the secret foe that aims at Oxford such a deadly blow. What champion can we find to save the state, to crush the plot? We darkly whisper, wait. My scheme is this, remove the votes of all. The residents that are not liberal, leave the young tutors uncontrolled and free, and Oxford then shall see what it shall see. What next? Why then, I say, let convocation be shorn of all the powers of legislation. But why stop where? Let us go boldly on. Sweep everything beginning with a con into oblivion. Convocation first, conservatism next, and last and worst, concilium hebdomadal must, consumed and conquered, be consigned to dust. And here I must relate a little fable I heard last Saturday at our high table. The cats, it seems, the masters of the house, and held their own against the rat and mouse. Of course the others couldn't stand it long, so held the caucus, not in their case wrong. And when we were assembled to a man, up rose an aged rat, and thus began, brothers in bondage, shall we bear to be for ever left in a minority? With what fell unity of purpose cats oppress the trusting innocence of rats, so unsuspicious are we of disguise, their machinations take us by surprise. Insulting and tyrannical absurdities, it is too bad by half upon my word it is. For now, that these cotton cats, I should say, Jerusalem, are masters they exterminate like Islam. How shall we deal with them? I tell you how, let none by kittens be allowed to meow. The liberal citizens seize us but in play, and while they frolic, we can run away. But other cats are not so generous, their claws are too conservative for us. Then let them keep the stable and the oats, while kittens, rats and mice have all the votes. Yes, banish cats, the kittens would not use their powers for blind obstruction, nor refuse to let us sip a creme and Gnova cheese, how glorious then would be our destinies. Kittens and rats would occupy the throne, and rule the larder for itself alone. So I my friend and asked me what I thought of it. I told him that so much as I have caught of it appeared to me as I need hardly mention, entirely undeserving of attention. But now, to guide the congregation, when it numbers none but really able men, a wise cancellarius will be needed, of every kind of human weakness weeded. Is such the president that we have got? He ought, no doubt, to be. Why should he not? I do not hint that liberals should dare to oust the present holder of a chair. But surely he would not object to be gently examined by a board of three, their duty being just to ascertain that he's all there, I mean of course brain, and that his mind, from petty details clear, is fitted for the duties of his sphere. All this is merely moonshine, till we get the seal of Parliament upon its head. A word then, senior censor, in your ear. The government is in a state of fear, like some old gentleman abroad at night, seized with a sudden shiver of affright, who offers money on his bended knees to the first skulking vagabond he sees. Now's the lucky moment for our task. They daren't refuse us anything we ask. And when our fellowships shall open be to intellect, to meaner quality, no moral excellence nor social fitness shall ever be admissible as witness. Wold, dull virtue, is Exonia's cry, come to my arms, Ignenius Villini. For classic fellowships and honor high, Simonides and co. will then apply. Our mathematics will to Oxford bring the cutest members of a betting ring. Law fellowships will start upon their journeys, a myriad of unscrupulous attorneys, while prisoners, doomed till now to toil unknown, shall mount the physical professor's throne. To what a varied feast of learning then should we invite our intellectual men? Professor Kelsley should instruct our flock to analyze the mysteries of Locke. Barnum should lecture them on rhetoric, the Davenports upon the cupboard trick. Robson and Redpath, Strahan and Paul and Bates should store the minds of undergrads. From Thorne's lecture room a class should come, versed in all arts of finger and of thumb, to illustrate in practice, or by stealth, the transitory character of wealth. And thus would Oxford educate, indeed, men far beyond a merely local need, with no career before them, I may say, unless they're wise enough to go away and seek for West, or in a distant East, another flock of pigeons to be fleeced. I might go on and trace the destiny of Oxford in an age which, though it be, was breaking with tradition, owns a new allegiance to the intellectual few, I mean of course to matter who. But were I to pursue the boundless theme, I fear that I should seem to you to dream. This to fulfill, or even, humbler far, to shun conservatism's noxious star, and all the evils that it brings behind, these pestilential coils must be entwined. These party coils that clog the march of mind, choked in whose meshes Oxford, slowly wise, has lain for 3 disastrous centuries. Away with them, it is for this I yearn, each twist untwist, each turner overturn, disfranchise each conservative, and cancel the votes of Michael, Liddon, Wall, and Menzel. When shall Oxford be herself again, neglect the heart and cultivate the brain? When this shall be the burden of our song, all change is good, whatever is wrong. When intellect's proud flag shall be unfurled, and brain alone shall rule the world.